March 18th, 2015, 8:36 a.m. That's the day my little brother, Brian Thomas Marshall, was born. I remember Dad waking me up in the middle of the night. I recall him saying, "Wake up, champ, it's time. You're going to be a big brother." I'd been excited about having a little brother ever since we found out Mom was going to have another boy. I already had an older brother who did nothing but boss me around and annoy me. Selfishly, I was looking forward to having someone to do those things to now. But even though that was my original plan, things weren't like that with the two of us. The one thing that kind of sucked was that before Brian got here, I used to get all of my parents' attention. But the older that I got, I didn't mind that so much anymore. I loved that I had someone to play with all of the time. My older brother Travis never liked to play with me. He'd let me play video games sometimes, but his were always too hard for me, and I'd either end up dying over and over, or he'd beat me every single time and then get mad about it. Another thing I like about Brian is that I can convince him that anything is a game. I remember the one time Mom and Dad kept telling me for a week to clean my room, but I just kept putting it off, and it got messier and messier. So I finally told Brian that I wanted to play a game to see how fast he was. I sat on my bed and pretended to time him while he cleaned up my entire bedroom. It took him a while, but he got it done. But the thing I loved most was when we played video games together. And even though he died every single time, I didn't care. Honestly, I just liked to spend time with him. Travis and I were never close the way that Brian and I are. From as far back as I can remember, Travis was always a jerk to me. When I was in second grade, Mom picked out my clothes for picture day and laid them out for me the night before. When I woke up and got dressed the next morning, my white button-up shirt was covered with drawings. They looked like a little kid had done them. There were dinosaurs, robots, and cars, all of my favorite things, drawn in all different colors of crayon. But I knew I hadn't drawn any of those things, which only meant one thing: Travis must have done it. Of course he denied it to my parents, and then later when the two of us were alone, he laughed about it in my face. But once Brian was born, I started to see a different side of Travis. He was actually pretty nice. I would catch him in the nursery talking to Brian, and I even heard him singing a lullaby once. When I walked in on him, I think he was a little embarrassed. I never caught him doing that again. When Brian got older, Travis would try to teach him how to play all the different sports. Brian's favorite is baseball. And as much as he says he hates it, whenever Brian would ask, Travis would sit and watch Thomas the Train with him. They'd sing along to all the songs together. Travis would probably try to deny it if anybody asked, but Mom has the videos to prove it. She recorded them plenty of times. Which is why it makes me so angry that Travis is just going about life like everything is normal. Even though he won't admit it, I know he misses Brian just as much as I do. This morning I saw him in Brian's room looking through his stuff. When I asked him what he was doing, he told me that he was trying to find something, but he didn't specify what. And he's been sneaking out almost every single night. He's snuck out before, but most of the time it's only once a week, usually a Friday or Saturday night. Maybe I should follow him like Destiny did to her sister. And speaking of Destiny's sister, why did he meet up with her last night anyway? When did they start hanging out? My parents are probably going to be keeping a close eye on me from now on. The police officer that found us sneaking around the abandoned house last night drove me home. He told my parents I was lucky that he didn't charge me and my friends with breaking and entering and trespassing. I expected them to be angry with me for sneaking out, but once the officer showed them Brian's hat that we'd found, they didn't seem to care as much as I thought they would. But Mom got very upset. I haven't gotten a chance to talk to Alex or the guys since last night. I was up all night studying the photo booth pictures of me and Alex. It was hard to see the black entity through the red hearts that Dominic drew. And I just can't figure out what the blackness is in the background. I think I'm going to ask Travis about it to see what he thinks. I text everyone in a group message and ask them if they can meet up at my house around noon. Alex and Ben say yes, they'll be there, but I don't hear back from the twins. And once 12 o'clock hits and they don't show up, I figure they got punished and their parents probably took their phones away. So me, Alex, and Ben decide to get started without them. When they arrive at my house, we all go straight up to my room. As soon as the door closes, Alex says that she thinks we should go back to the carnival since that's the first place that we saw the black shadow. Ben agrees, butting in, "I was thinking the same thing. There could be more clues there that could lead us to Brian." Maybe Dominic's negative thinking was starting to rub off on me because I was beginning to lose hope in finding my brother alive, or at all. The sound of Alex's voice caused me to forget about my negative thoughts for the moment. The carnival is only in town for another few nights. Ben said yeah, he could go. His parents were out of town on vacation, so his sister was watching him while they were gone, which explains why he's allowed to do pretty much anything he wants. As long as he doesn't bother her, she doesn't care what he does. Alex says she can go tonight as long as one of us picks her up at her house. That way her parents know that she's not going out alone. Ben tells her that he'll pick her up at 8. There's only one way that I'll be allowed to go back to the carnival, and that's if Travis takes me. I'll have to ask Travis to tell my parents that he's taking me, I tell the others. That's the only way I'll be allowed to go. What if he says no? Alex asks, worried. I answer, then the two of you will just have to go back without me. I tell them that I'll text them later and let them know if I can go or not. After they leave, I head down the hall to Travis's room. I knock on his half-open door and can see that he's playing video games. "What do you want?" he asks me. I start to walk inside, but stop in my tracks when he blurts out, "Did I say you could come in?" After stepping back outside into the hallway, he tells me, "You can come in now, dweeb." Then he laughs at himself. I guess he thinks he said something funny, but I'm used to him calling me names. He does it all of the time. Come to think of it, I can't remember the last time he actually called me by my name. I tell him, I need a favor. He starts to shake his head no before I even get a chance to say anything else. "Can I tell you what it is before you say no?" I ask, aggravated. "First, let me ask you something. What's in it for me?" he demands to know. I reply, "What do you want?" He tells me that I have to do his chores for a whole 2 weeks. I hate doing his chores. Why didn't he just ask for money instead, I think to myself. Fine, I agree. So all I need you to do is tell Mom and Dad that you're taking me, Alex, and Ben to the carnival tonight. Then act like you're leaving with me. You can go do whatever you want until we're done, and then I'll call you so we can meet back up and come home together. "What are you guys doing at the carnival?" he questions. I pull the photos from my back pocket and hand them to him. "Ew, I don't want to see lovey-dovey pictures of you and your girlfriend," he tells me as he hands them back to me, sounding disgusted. "No, look at this," I say, pointing to the figure standing behind us in the background of the photos. He examines each photo, then asks, "What is that?" I tell him, "I don't know, but that's why we're going back to the carnival tonight." He says that he'll tell Mom and Dad that he's going with me as long as I agree to the original deal, doing his chores for 2 weeks, but now he adds that I have to pay him $10 too. I feel like it's not worth it, but then again, it could be if we find another clue that could lead us to Brian. The police took Brian's hat for evidence, and the officer that called us called for backup, and then they secured the scene. They searched the abandoned house, but didn't find anyone or anything in there. So basically, they think we made it all up. But I know what I saw. Alex, Ben, and Daniel saw it too, so I know I'm not crazy. When I go downstairs to get some lunch, I see Dad in the kitchen. "Is it okay if Travis takes me to the carnival tonight?" "Ben and Alex are going too," I tell him. He seems apprehensive to let me go, but finally tells me that I can. So later that night, Travis and I say goodbye to our parents and head out, pretending to go to the carnival together. When I get to the corner to meet up with Alex and Ben, who are waiting there for me, I'm surprised to see that Destiny is standing there with them. When Alex sees the look of surprise on my face, she says, "Destiny was already on her way to the carnival, so I thought she could just tag along with us." "Sure," I say, shrugging my shoulders. Ben gives me a look. I can't tell if he's mad or annoyed that Destiny is coming with us. The four of us head off towards the carnival. When we turn onto Baxter Street, I start to get butterflies in my stomach. Alex senses my nervousness and tells me, "We can take the long way around if you want." I shake my head and continue walking. As we get closer to the abandoned house, all I can see is darkness coming from inside, and I notice that now there are 2 police cars sitting out front. Just as we're walking by, a gentle breeze begins to blow, but then it stops as soon as we walk past the house. I keep getting this feeling to turn around. It's like something is urging me to. So when I finally do, that's when I see something that forces my body to come to a standstill. There is light shining from one of the upstairs windows, but when we were in there last night, the electricity wasn't working. When Ben and the girls realize I'm not still walking with them, they turn around and call my name. I jog over to them and tell them what I saw. Then Ben walks back down the street to check it out, but when he returns, he tells us that he didn't see a light. So Alex and I walk down there next. Whatever light in the window I think I saw is gone. When we finally make it to the carnival, I try to focus, but I can't stop thinking about the light. We purchase our wristbands to ride the rides, and then we decide to split up. Ben and Destiny go one way, while Alex and I go the opposite. The 2 of us immediately head to the photo booth, hoping to find something there. On my way there, I notice that people are staring and pointing at me. I can only imagine what they're whispering to each other. They're probably saying, "That's the boy whose little brother went missing here at the carnival." The carnival isn't very crowded tonight like it was the night that I came with my family. Maybe it's because the carnival is coming to an end in a few more days. Or could it be because of Brian's disappearance? Are people scared? We finally make it to the booth, but have to wait a few minutes because there's another couple in there taking pictures. Once they're finished, Alex and I step into the booth, and I once again search it, but find nothing. We sit down and press the button to take our picture. Then as we step outside to retrieve them, I feel something wet drop onto the tip of my nose. I wipe it off with my finger and see that it was a raindrop. A moment later, it begins to lightly drizzle. I pull my hoodie over my head, snatch the photos before they get wet, then grab Alex by the hand and dart underneath a nearby pavilion. Alex snatches the photos from my hand and starts to examine them. "No, I don't see anything. These look normal," she tells me. The rain starts to come down really hard, and now people are either trying to find cover or rush to their cars. I search the crowd for Destiny and Ben. "Do you see them?" I ask Alex. She looks up from the photos and begins to scan the crowd for them. Finally, she asks me, "Why don't you just call Ben?" I pull out my cell phone, and just as I'm about to place the call, the sky changes from a gloomy gray to black. The rain keeps pouring down harder and harder. The carnival looks deserted now, besides me and Alex hiding under the pavilion. The call goes through and it begins to ring. Ben answers, screaming into the phone, "Hello?" I can hear thunder in the background of wherever he is. "Where are you? Did you find anything?" I ask. I wait for a reply, then suddenly I hear frantic screaming. I think that it's Destiny, but I don't get a chance to ask because the line goes dead. Alex looks at me confused. What happened? I shrug my shoulders and tell her, "Come on, we have to go find them." We dash through the rain searching for them. All of the rides are closed now and there aren't many places to take cover from the rain here. Then I spot something. I catch a glimpse of Baby Blue running into the Funhouse. Destiny was wearing a baby blue dress. So I tell Alex to come on and we race towards the Funhouse. The Funhouse is an attraction at the carnival that is full of different things. There are the big distorted mirrors and clowns. Tons of clowns. I was afraid to come inside until I was about 8 or 9. Travis used to tease me about it all the time. There's some kind of creepy music playing when we enter. It's dark inside. I can barely see my hand in front of my face. Alex grabs my other hand and then I start yelling out for Ben and Destiny. I hear giggles and screams. I'm not sure if the screaming is part of the Funhouse attraction or if it could be Destiny. As loud as the music is inside, I can still hear the loud roars of thunder outside. I call Ben's phone again, but it just keeps ringing. "Do you have Destiny's number?" I ask Alex. She starts scrolling through her phone, but then suddenly she stops and asks me, "Do you hear that?" I listen closely and vaguely hear the sound of someone screaming for help. I glance at Alex, not really sure what to do, but when she heads in the direction of the screams, I follow her. I'm not sure where they will lead us to, and as brave as I usually am, I have to admit I'm scared as hell right now. As we get near the exit of the funhouse, we still haven't found Destiny and Ben. Alex stops, debating our next move. She asks me, should we turn around and go back to search again? Or should we just try to go get some help? I reply, I'm not really sure what we should do. Do you feel that? She questions. Feel what? I ask, confused. I think there's a hole in the roof. I feel raindrops. Don't you feel them? I don't feel anything where I'm standing, but when I walk over to where Alex is, I start to feel what she's talking about. A raindrop drops onto my arm, but when I wipe it off, it doesn't wipe off smoothly like the raindrops that fell outside. It feels sticky, and it smears across my arm as I wipe it. I cut on the flashlight on my cell phone and shine it up at the ceiling. Once Alex catches her breath, she grabs me and practically has to drag me out of there. When we get outside, we call the police and wait for them near the entrance to the carnival. The rain has stopped now and the sky is cloudy again. Did I really just see what I think I saw back there? Alex asks me, frightened. Just as I'm about to answer, I see someone walking towards us. The closer the figure gets, I recognize the baby blue dress and realize that it's Destiny. I rush over to her, demanding to know what happened to Ben, but she just stands there in a daze. Well, what happened to you? I finally ask her. She doesn't snap out of it until the police arrive and begin to ask her questions. That's when we finally find out what happened to Ben. We were just walking around the carnival. I watched him play a few games, then it started to rain. We stood in the entrance to the funhouse so that we wouldn't get soaked. Then the sky got really dark. It turned black. And something came out of the funhouse. It looked like hands reaching out toward us. I got scared, so I ran. And when I looked back, Ben was gone. Whatever it was, it had gotten him. It grabbed him and pulled him into the funhouse. Subscribe for new original stories 3 times a week. See you next time on
Nina's Nightmares.
Really? You're supposed to click the like button, not me. Ugh.